Hey, Kevin here, top 100 financial advisor, two-time author, one-time bestseller, and we are here to talk about the stock market. Today, we got some very, very big news about Bitcoin, and it begs the question, is now a time to invest in Bitcoin? Now, I did do a video 2 weeks ago about why I started to move into it, and it's a little bit of a confirmation here. So I want to talk about the risk of Bitcoin, what are the problems with Bitcoin, and why it might be a time to consider it just a little bit more. So the news of the day is Coinbase, the company that was really the largest company to allow you to buy and sell Bitcoin. They were founded back in 2012, I believe. They are going to go public. Not this year. They've confidentially filed, so it could be a few months before they actually hit the market. It might be, maybe, we'll see, because we don't know the financial information yet. It could be one of the bigger, splashier IPOs of 2021. So keep your eye out on it. Am I going to invest in it? That's probably a definite no. However, this is another big sign that I've been talking about before. One of the big reasons that I did invest in Bitcoin back in the day being 2018, when everybody was talking about it and it hit $20,000 and it just fell off a cliff immediately after that point, is because there wasn't any backing for it. You guys know my process, and a big portion, especially my students who are in the Investors Toolkit, click the link above to learn more. Those of us who are in that class, you know that I follow the big money. When I know that large mutual funds are going to purchase, when I know that billionaire investors are going to purchase, when I know that large companies are going to put $250 million into something, that I want to hop on that train, because I know if you put that type of money in there, one, you believe in it, two, that stock has to move. For example, the reason why I finally jumped into Tesla, and I've been consistent about this, right? I said I wasn't going to invest in Tesla. Then we heard that Tesla was going to be added to the S&P 500. It was a rumor at first. Remember, they get added on next week, the 21st. But once I heard that rumor, I'm like, all right, look, let me go ahead and get in this now, because when these trillion-dollar funds have to buy it, the stock has to go up. And almost always, with a lot of these companies that get added to the S&P 500, you start to see a little bit of a boost, because again, these trillion-dollar funds have to invest in it. Why did I get into Snow? I normally don't do IPOs at all. The one time I broke that rule was for Snow, because you had Warren Buffett putting millions of dollars in it, and you had Salesforce putting $250 million into it. So I'm like, maybe I need to look into this. And it's in tech space, which is where I like and where I know tends to move a bit quicker than other types of investments. Lastly, with Bitcoin, we knew that, I think it was JP Morgan that said they were going to start to do some things with it. We know that PayPal was looking to roll out some stuff, and we know on Cash App you can buy and sell Bitcoin there. That makes it a little bit more legitimate, right? It makes it a little more stable, and it says it is going to be here to stay. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to grow forever and it's going to go to 40,000 or whatever these people will tell you that it's going to go to. I'm not here to tell you that, because I don't know, but it gives it a little more stability, and it gives it more legitimacy. It's like, oh, you are a real thing now, as opposed to some internet fad, which is what we saw in 2018. Now, just because these things are happening does not prevent it from falling off a map, just like it did in 2018. It could not. I have no idea right now, and it moves as we're talking. It's at about 23,000, which is the highest it's ever been. Maybe it'll continue, maybe it won't. But Coinbase going public is a big deal, because that's basically all they do. They were founded in 2012. I don't know if I mentioned that already. They were like the number one place, actually the biggest place, to buy and sell Bitcoin. You had to have a Coinbase account or one of the smaller ones to get any cryptocurrency. They are going public, which makes them a lot more legitimate as well. Same thing with Airbnb and DoorDash and Snowflake and all the tons and tons and tons of IPOs we've covered over the last few weeks and months. So with this, it tells me that Bitcoin is more legitimate now than it has ever been, and is a more solid investment option. But here's the thing I want you to be cautious about. There's actually a few big problems, but there's two very, very huge problems with Bitcoin. Number one is Bitcoin really an investment, or is it a currency? Is it a store of value? Because people will tell you, and you kind of know the answer, you can pay with stuff in certain areas with Bitcoin, and places like Cash App and PayPal for that matter, are trying to make that a lot easier. Do I really want to put my money into something to spend if the money is going to fluctuate so quickly? For example, if I need to buy, I don't know, Christmas gifts, PS5, which just no human can get right now. If I have $500 in Bitcoin, I want to buy it. By the time I go to the website and pay for it, will it be $200? Would it be $400? Like, how can I reliably buy stuff? When it's in my bank account, it's not moving. I know exactly how much money I have. When I have Bitcoin, that value can fluctuate. At least over the last few weeks, that money has gone up. So hooray for me, but that's not a guarantee. The same reason with the stock market, you don't pay for stuff with your Tesla stock. You sell it and it's in cash, and then you use it. It is an asset, and it's just an asset. Bitcoin is in a weird space where it's both. It is an asset that grows, but it's also currency that you can pay for, like right then and there. I can pay in Bitcoin. I can't pay in Tesla stock. So that's something to be worried about, because when it comes to further making it a store of payment, how between you walking to the store and buying something, will you have double your money, which is great, or will you have half of your money? That's a concern when you're trying to buy stuff, because that the value, the cost of gas is going to change. But like the drink you're trying to buy at the grocery store, the electronic thing you're trying to buy, MacBook, whatever, it's going to stay the same. Your Bitcoin is not. So that's a problem for Bitcoin going forward. It's always going to be a problem for Bitcoin going forward. Unlike gold, you can't do anything with a gold bar. It has value, and the value of that changes, but you can't take a gold bar and go buy stuff with it. You have to exchange it for whatever that exchange rate is. You get cash, and then you buy stuff with that cash. So that's a hesitancy point for me. So I don't know how widely adopted it will be. Will it be adopted? Yes, we've seen that, but to what degree? Will it ever outpace cash? That's hard to tell. I don't see that right now, but 5 years from now, we'll see. But the other thing too is, should you invest in Bitcoin? A lot of people get into it because they think that it is the hottest, easiest way to double your money and increase your returns. You really want to be careful about that. I want you to compare it to what we already know. A lot of people are looking to jump into Bitcoin because it's the new thing, and you feel like it is a get rich quick thing. I'll tell you this. Bitcoin is up 200% this year. All of 2020, Bitcoin's up 200%. That's good in any year, but let's compare it to other things that you already know of that we know are a lot more solid. For example, Tesla is up 683% in 2020. That is what? 2.5 times what Bitcoin is? A little more than that? That's almost 700%. Just for Tesla. That's it. Then you've got, I'm looking at the chart here, you got Etsy up 324%. Etsy is an online store. You can make stuff and sell it. You got Shopify up 196%. And one of my favorite stocks, or becoming one of my favorite stocks, is Square. And that's up 268%. All of these are just as accessible as Bitcoin. They're a little more reliable in my view, because I can see that your revenue is growing. That's a company that is managed by somebody. And in this case, I don't think any of these pay dividends, but in some cases, you can get a stock that does really well and it pays dividends. So you don't have to get Bitcoin if you're trying to do well, at least in 2020. Is Bitcoin going to be up 200% next year, or any of the stocks I mentioned going to be up 20 something odd percent, over the next year? There's no telling, but I'm still putting the vast majority of my confidence and my research and my money in the market. Index funds, stocks some of the stocks we just mentioned, y'all can follow me on Public. I talk about that all the time. That's where I'm focused. I do have a little bit of money in Bitcoin. By a little bit, I mean $100. It is now $115. I invested 2 weeks ago. I did a video on that. So be careful with it. I'm not here to say it's going to double or it's going to be cut in half in the next few months. I don't know, but I am telling you that it is not your only option. It is not your only option to see great returns with investing. There were people back in 2018 said, no, I don't want to mess with the stock market, but I'm gonna get on this Bitcoin though. And then we saw what happened. Well, not to say that Tesla is any type of predictable, but I don't think Tesla or any of these legitimate companies are going to be half or a fifth of what they were in 4 months time, like Bitcoin did. I have a CEO that can be accountable. I have financial statements. I can see the cars being produced. I can see people going to the website. There are things I can look at and measure to see whether or not things are going to go in the right direction or not. If Bitcoin turns and goes negative, nobody's going to know why, other than the fact that people just don't want Bitcoin at that point in time. So that's why I lean more towards the market. Is it time for you to invest? Sure. the thing is, you want to manage your risk. You can have absolutely zero, which is totally fine, as you can see, or you can have, in my view, no more than like 3% max of your overall portfolio, unless you want to be super risky. If you're a super risky investor and you don't care none about no risk, you go have at it. Would I get Bitcoin for my kids? Yeah, because they're kids. They're not even 4 years old. They can weather the storm. I'm too old for that, and I'm only 31. And I don't like to see those crazy ups and downs. So I got a little bit in there. If it does well in 6 months, maybe I'll put a little bit more. But I personally am focused more in the market because I know what I'm doing, but also I can understand and predict a bit more. I don't like what do you call them, commodities, where it's just gold or just oil or just forex or something like that. That's not my thing. You got to have some backing. It's got to make some sense. But I am more confident in Bitcoin than I ever have been before because you see a lot of the backing there. So I do think Bitcoin has a path to continue to grow and become a more legitimate asset in the future, but it still has some hurdles. All right, let me know what you think. What do you think about Bitcoin now? What did you think about Bitcoin back in the day? Did you buy some then? Did you hold it for forever and you're finally starting to see a profit? Did you get burned the first time around? Are you still staying out? There are no right or wrong answers, but I do want to know what your answers are. Type them in the comments below. Hit the share button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit all the buttons, all of them. They're all free. Hit them all. And check out the Investors Toolkit. You want to start investing in 2021 if you haven't started already. Plenty of my students are watching these videos and they will tell you it is one of the easiest step-by-step courses out there on the planet. And I've got a lot of people that have made more money now than they ever have before. My job as an advisor and as a teacher, an educator, is to help you to understand the market, make it plain, make it clear, and give you a path to start with whatever budget you have. So make sure you check out the Investors Toolkit. That link will be above. I'll talk to you guys later.